G'day, Brian and Mark with you, and today, Mark, we are going back to the future. You've been running in the Nike Pegasus 29?
29, we're up there.
Yep, okay,
Yep.
29, is that 29 years or just 29 models?
29 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
Which, modeler years, so 29 years.
Yeah, only as old as us.
Yeah, we wish.
Good work. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the Pegasus, why you've been running in this.
Yeah, we do a lot of reviews, obviously, on some of the lighter weight trainers and racing flats and
Yep.
some of the more minimal stuff, but I tend to run more so in this sort of stuff as my daily trainer.
Mhm.
So, and this is the sort of shoe that we normally would recommend to most people for their sort of default shoe, I guess, or daily trainer. But
If they've come from a background of running in something that's particularly heavy and stiff. And
yes. Stability shoes
Yeah,
with
yeah.
orthotics. This
Yep.
tends to be their first step away from
Yes.
those sort of shoes. So, but we give this a try because I haven't worn a Pegasus for probably a long time.
For 20 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
This is the sort of shoe that probably every runner at some stage in their life has had one
Yep.
somewhere, whether they know it or not. They've probably had a Pegasus somewhere.
I think I have had a couple of pairs.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have a couple. As I said in the article, my sister has got one. She refuses to throw them away. They're about 15 years old. She's
Yep.
still using them for gardening.
Excellent.
Still going. So, this is the 29. A couple of changes from previous models. Previous models sold pretty well, but this has been a ripping update.
Yep.
Fantastic update.
And I did see Chris Solinsky tweeting like mad about how much he's loving it, and he always gets paid by Nike to say that, but
Yeah.
maybe he's onto something.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. Well, this is the sort of shoe that those sort of guys
Yep.
do a lot of their work in.
Yep.
It's funny that a lot of the Nike sponsored athletes don't, even though they get it for free, they don't actually run in the $220 sort of
Yep.
Miro or higher. They pick this. This
Yep.
is the this is the shoe that retails in Australia for $160, and in the US probably 100.
Probably 100.
Yeah,
about that.
that's it's not an expensive shoe.
Yep.
Probably, in my opinion, probably the best bang for your buck shoe going around.
Yep.
Couple of things with this new update. Significantly lighter again, which is fantastic. The best thing that's happened in the last couple of years with the shoe industry, with all the more minimal shoes, is that every shoe in every category has got lighter.
Yep.
So that's just one of the biggest benefits that we can possibly see. The front and the upper here, they've used a bit of that sort of flying it type stuff. It only goes basically to halfway up the shoe. It is super comfortable, this stuff. They put it in the Lunar Glide 4 as well, and I think
Yep.
the upcoming Lunar Eclipse 3. It's super comfortable, and it breathes really well, and it's light. So really light. One thing with the upper and the last of it, if you've got a super skinny foot,
Yep.
which I've got a little bit of a skinny foot, then it's probably not narrow enough through the forefoot, so you do have to tighten it up a little bit. So if you've got a super skinny foot, possibly look for something else.
So this is a bit of a step away from the usual way that Nike puts their shoes together. Sometimes they're quite narrow fitting, whereas this one's a bit more generous fit through the midfoot and also down into the forefoot as well.
It is, yeah. Especially just in that sort of forefoot part there, it is a little bit more generous. Yeah. So if you have got a super skinny foot, then this is probably not going to fit you very well. But
Yep.
everybody else, you should be sweet. And there's obviously width versions as well if you've got a super wide foot.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Couple of other things. The cushioning has changed. The actual cushioning itself is lighter. This cush line is lighter than previous models too, so that's really helped. Awesome flexibility in the forefoot,
Yep.
which is something that Brian's pretty pumped about.
Yes.
Bangs on about that a fair bit.
Yes, definitely. If you get a bit more flexibility through there, even if you've got some cushion, which this shoe has, you can still feel a little bit more about what's going on underneath you.
Yeah.
It does force your foot to work a little bit more than if you've just got a stiff plank in the forefoot.
Yep, there's definitely some flexibility there, which is great. One thing I will say, if you want to use this for probably some faster work or
Yep.
some tempo stuff, I'd probably
Not so
suggest
much, yeah.
look somewhere else. Yeah, but this is a workhorse. It's really just does everything you want it to do as far as daily stuff. You can whack it on and go and do your easy jog here, or 2 hours, or 1 hour. It doesn't really matter. It just goes with you.
Yep.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
Good stuff. And let's just have a look at this flexibility for myself. Yeah, no, that is quite significantly flexible. It's obviously not quite a free, but I think at one stage you were almost calling this the
the free 7.
Free 7 or free 8 or something.
Yeah.
Like it's almost an introduction to that, but
it almost
is
is
a little bit different.
If you could line them up on a shoe wall, I would have this sitting above at the top, and then I would probably have then your free 5.0, 4.0, 3.0 sort of shoe. So great flexibility, but still plenty of cushioning there for people that want a bit more under their foot.
Now this one's pretty ugly. Is it available in other colours?
This was a shocking colour, I must admit, but it was the only one that was in my size at the time when I wanted to buy them and try them. So yes, this is probably the worst colour that Nike bring out. They always bring out some pretty awesome colours. There's heaps of colours of the pegs available, so much nicer than this one. The bright yellow one sold really well here in Australia, which was the vault colour for the Olympics, so that sold super well. This one probably didn't as much, but another quick thing I want to mention is probably the only fault I really find in the shoe as such is just under here through the arch, it actually just cuts away probably a little bit too much.
So if you're a bit unstable, then perhaps maybe avoid this as your default setting shoe.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I think if they sort of just bolster that up a little bit, this would actually be a almost unfoldable shoe. But it's just cuts away a little bit. So if you are a little bit unstable, you're likely to probably just collapse that a little bit. But it's
on the plus side, minor. That sort of does allow it to sort of twist through that.
It does.
Sideways motion, which does give you sort of good feel and allow your foot to move fairly naturally. So. Yeah, you're pretty pumped about this shoe, Mark, so you almost tempted me to step away from some of my more lightweight gear to give this a go to get down the track. Yeah, absolutely. It really is just a good bang for your buck shoe. It's simple, and simple is good. They don't overcomplicate things with this shoe. I think the designers at Nike would probably say, it's got all this sort of tech stuff in it. It's just a good shoe. Just a simple shoe. And just as a point of comparison to, say for example, the Vomero, like this has got a reasonable amount of cushion, but usually we don't recommend the Vomero because that's just taking things like a step too far. It's a bit overly cushioned, to be honest, and a little bit too soft, perhaps. Too soft. It actually becomes a little bit almost unstable in a way. It's not just a nice platform, whereas this is just a nice platform. Cool. Something like an Asics Nimbus too. It's like there's no feel for the ground in a shoe like that. So, but this is a really good intermediate. Almost the Goldilocks shoe type that you talk about. So exactly. It's got cushioning, but it's not overly soft that you can't feel what's going on underneath you. But it gives you enough protection for sure. Awesome. There you go. Well, that is the Nike Pegasus 29. If you want to check out the written review, just visit runningtechniquetips.com. See you next time.